Conservative rushes in to outwit Columbo.
Didn't you say? Yes, you did.
William Shatner guest stars with Peter Falk.
If I had known that I was bothered.
You were. And you are.
Columbo, Butterfly, and Shades of Grey, Sunday on ABC.
There's holiday magic, and all through the land, when snowflakes are flying, it's part of the plan.
I remember being a little kid. My first memories, 3 or 4 years old, and my sister and I would get up and rush downstairs and see the huge tree and the presents and the cookies that Santa had left. And that's what I think of when I think of Christmas, how special that was for us.
Happy holiday from 7 News, and Happy New Year.
It's the world premiere of the all-new Toy Story Parade. Live Christmas morning from Walt Disney World in Florida. Join Buzz, Woody, Mr. Potato Head, and the whole Toy Story gang on the very Merry Christmas Parade. Join your host, Joan London, Regis Philbin, from Boy Meets World special guest Ben Savage and Ryder Strong, along with Mickey, Minnie, and all your favorite Disney friends for TV's biggest Christmas celebration.
Look for the Very Merry Christmas Parade
right here on Channel 7.
Join Channel 7 Christmas Eve at 11:30 and enjoy the sounds of this holy and holiday season on the House of the Lord Christmas Special. You'll hear music and song from the well-known Colorado Choir, and also songs of celebration from the church choirs of Augustana Lutheran and New Hope Baptist. So tune in to Channel 7 on Christmas Eve, 11:30, for the House of the Lord Christmas Special.
You've come through for a local family. See how at 5.
This special holiday edition of Siskel and Ebert is brought to you by Orville Redenbacher's Gourmet Popping Corn, the best part of the movies. This week, Siskel and Ebert review Angela Bassett and Whitney Houston sharing laughter and tears while waiting to exhale. New neighbor Sophia Loren turns Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon into grumpier old men. And Jean-Claude Van Damme battles terrorists at the Stanley Cup Finals in sudden death.
You're a fool. You are making it so easy for them to kill you, coming across as some kind of a crazed animal, Nazi, racist, mad dog who deserves to die.
Is that what you think?
Susan Sarandon plays a nun who gets to know a man on death row, played by Sean Penn in Dead Man Walking. It's one of 6 holiday movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert, including new pictures starring Gina Davis, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Whitney Houston. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. Our first film is Dead Man Walking, and this is simply one of the year's finest pictures, taking a tough subject, the death penalty, and putting a human face and heart on all sides of the issue. Susan Sarandon stars in a film directed by actor Tim Robbins, who declares himself now as a major writer and director with this story of a nun who agrees to counsel a convicted rapist and murderer, played by Sean Penn.
You could have just walked away.
Hey, he went psycho on me.
Don't blame him. You blame him. You blame the government. You blame drugs. You blame blacks. You blame the Percys. You blame the kids for being there. What about Matthew Poncelet? Where's he in this story? What, is he just an innocent? A victim?
What distinguishes Dead Man Walking is that it finally does what so many people have wanted crime films to do for so many years. It takes us into the families of the victims.
I'm just trying to follow the example of Jesus, who said that every person is worth more than their worst act.
This is not a person. This is an animal. No, I take that back. Animals don't rape and murder their own kind. Matthew Poncelet is God's mistake. And you want to hold the poor murderer's hand?
Of course, the film returns to the developing relationship between the prisoner and the nun and whether she can help him get a stay of execution.
Me and my lady friends, we grab a bottle, blanket, some weed, go out in the woods, and we do it. It's something you miss, man.
Well, let's face it, Matt, if I had a husband and a family, chances are I'd be with them right now instead of sitting here visiting with you.
Yeah, true enough. I'm glad you're here.
Dead Man Walking does not offer an easy answer to the death penalty debate. It's not about the killer suddenly being found innocent by a clever attorney. It's not even about the banal horror of lethal injection. I think it's more about the capacity of the human heart, Sarandon's and those families of the victims to experience love and also pain. Dead Man Walking is a very rich film. I can't recommend it more strongly. Congratulations to writer-director Tim Robbins. I was really impressed with his work.
I feel exactly the same way. The people who made this film can be proud of themselves. They have shown up so many other films on this subject as the kind of transparent, easy solutions that they are. This movie shows there are no easy solutions. It is a very tough, uncompromising movie about a woman who has religious faith and who tries to apply that faith in the real world and finds that it's very hard, but that she might be equal to it. It is a very good film.
You know what I like about it, Roger? I don't think the film offers a solution.
No, it doesn't.
You see, and I think that's a great goal. The easiest thing is to be on the right side of an issue, and particularly in California, they're always on the liberal side. And whether you agree with that or not, it's an easy position to take.
Yes.
This is a much more complex script and writing.
The movie even has the courage to write that character by Sean Penn in such a way that he's not such a nice guy. And he says some very offensive things. And then later he's mad at himself. How could I have said those stupid things? And you realize he's a guy who maybe had the potential to be a better person, but was never given a break by society. He is so stupid, he doesn't even have control over his own opinions.
It's an excellent piece of work.
Okay, next movie. And our next movie is a big-budget swashbuckler named Cutthroat Island, starring Gina Davis as an exuberant woman pirate on a desperate search for the missing parts of a treasure map. She owns a third of the map, but it's written in Latin, so she buys an educated slave who can translate it for her. He is played by Matthew Modine, and they barely escape from a Jamaican port city with their lives. And of course, it goes without saying that Davis and Modine fall in love.
Give me the map. Give me a kiss first.
Her arch enemy is an uncle and fellow pirate played by Frank Langella.
Your father was nothing. All my brothers were nothing. You had seen them. Think how far we could go together, Morgan. You and me against the world.
Cutthroat Island does a perfectly good job of being exactly what it says it is, a swashbuckling adventure film with a lot of energy and special effects. It was directed by Renny Harlin, who made Die Hard 2. I find I don't care personally much these days for pirate movies since they concentrate on the action, and I'd like to see a movie about what a desperate existence most pirates must have led. So I wasn't caught up in the excitement of Cutthroat Island, but I do recognize it as a skillful piece of work. I think I give it thumbs up just for achieving exactly what it says it's going to do.
But it aimed low, Roger. I think it is nonstop. It is nonstop action. As
Why
you
does
said.
that make it low?
What?
Why is it aiming low to have nonstop action? That's what it is, nonstop action.
Because
it's a nonstop action
I'm
movie.
sitting there. No, we got one coming up later in the show that's much better than that. And I'll show you the difference. But here, Gina Davis, to me, is boring and is almost giddy as a pirate, and I think that her voice can command the action. So I thought she was out of place in this picture. I don't know if a woman could do it, but she isn't the one to do it.
What about the swashbuckling, the swinging from side to side?
You know what, Roger? I'm going to tell you something.
Cannon battles,
all of that stuff, I've seen it before. The ships didn't look glamorous. Matthew Modine and she do not engage each other. I really wonder about what's going on with Matthew Modine's career, because this was a superior actor, and I think he's just wasted in a fluff like this.
Coming up next, one of the most anticipated movies of the year, Waiting to Exhale, starring Whitney Houston and Angela Bassett.
It's amazing what can happen when you give a man control over your life.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Julie.
Julie, can I ask you something?
Sure, you can ask me anything.
Where did you get that cheese popcorn? Thanks.
Introducing Red & Butter's Cheddar. Delicious butterfly kernels covered in white and golden cheddar cheese flavors. New Red & Butter's Cheddar. So good, it's irresistible.
I'm glad you made it to the reunion.
Oh, I can't believe it's been 20 years.
You okay?
I could use some Tylenol. Here. Oh, ibuprofen? No, I can't. I had an ulcer. Really? My husband had an ulcer. Oh, he should be careful. My doctor says ibuprofen can aggravate an ulcer. Tylenol just works great.
If you're using ibuprofen, Tylenol may be safer for you. Talk to your doctor.
20 years later, you've still given me the answers.
Are you ever going to listen?
It only happens once a year. The one day everything has to be perfect. And after all the effort, the loving care, it all pays off in the warmth of the people you love being finally together. The happiest of holidays to everyone in your family, from everyone in ours.
Discover Card Stars on Ice, back live for its 10th anniversary season, January 21st at McNichols Sports Arena, featuring world and Olympic champions Christy Yamaguchi, Scott Hamilton, Katarina Witt, Paul Wiley, Kurt Browning, Betsky and Petrov, Rosalind Sumners, Rockamo and Coco, and Huffin Ladre. For tickets, visit Ticketmasters or Charge. Presented by KMGH-TV, KOSI-FM, and the Denver Post. Discover Card Stars on Ice.
The one man I love is married with a kid. And there's my life in one little sad nutshell.
Men do leave their wives.
At least he told you he was married.
4 women talk about their troubles with men in Waiting to Exhale, a film that's being called groundbreaking even before people see it, because it's about 4 close friends who are African Americans, and they're middle and upper middle class, and it's about their often painful love lives. It's not about guns or the ghetto. Alas, I wish more of the film lived up to its advanced billing. Angela Bassett stars as a woman who learns about her husband's treachery as she prepares for a New Year's Eve party. This scene, to me, plays like a TV soap opera.
She. Yes. She doesn't want to be alone tonight, and I was thinking, why should she be? I'm leaving you for her.
Whitney Houston plays a TV producer who has a sometime relationship with a married man. It pains her, but her mother says, settle for it. I find that hard to believe from any mother.
It ain't too late, Savannah. He's begging on his damn knees and you letting him get away.
Mama, do you hear me? I have a job. I have friends. Ma, I have interests that you don't even ask about.
My favorite character, the one I wish the whole movie were about, she's a sweet soul, a hairdresser played by Loretta Devine, who I think steals the movie from the bigger name actresses.
Would you like to have dinner with us tonight? It's just leftovers. Collard greens, some cornbread, some candied yams, a little potato salad, fried chicken, peach cobbler, 2 slices of ham.
A more comic sequence involves the 4th member of the film's sisterhood, a businesswoman played by Leela Roshan.
Does he think he just did something here? I could have had a V8.
Waiting to Exhale is an ambitious film based on a best-selling book, but is directed by the actor Forrest Whitaker. I thought there were just too many characters here to get deeply involved with any of them except one. I call part of this film a soap opera. Frankly, I think a lot of it is. I know it's going to score with female audiences frustrated by men. I thought the guys as a group here were pretty lame as characters. A mixed review for me, but ultimately thumbs down.
A mixed review for me, but ultimately thumbs up. But I agree with the word soap opera. It is a soap opera, and I think it's an escapist soap opera. I think women who go thinking they're going to see a complaint about men are going to wind up saying, I wish I were one of those women. Look at those clothes. Look at that hair. Look at those houses. Look at the guys they're rejecting. I'd like to have some guys like that to reject. I think women will relate to this movie as a fantasy, and I think they will like it on that level.
Yeah, but what
I feel
about you?
That
what did you think of my point about...
Oh, she's very good.
Don't you think that's the most interesting character?
Yes, she is.
And it's not
absolutely,
a star turn.
But Angela Bassett is very good, too, especially in that scene with Wesley Snipes. That's a very good scene.
Well, you know what?
What I wish, though, Forrest Whitaker, who directed the movie, he's kind of a gentle guy in person. I think the movie is too gentle.
Yes.
I thought it should have been harder and with more of an edge to it. I think it works, but in a disappointing way. It's not the movie we were hoping for.
I wish you were tougher and gave it thumbs down. When we come back, Jean-Claude Van Damme is all that stands between thousands of hockey fans and sudden death.
I never thought I would need blood, but then I was in a car accident and I needed blood very badly.
Sometimes I walk around and wonder, maybe today I saved someone's life because I donate blood.
The people that donated that blood saved my life.
It's just so easy to give blood. There are centers all over. They have hours that are nights and weekends. I can just drop in whenever it's convenient for me. Makes me feel very much like a quiet hero.
Give blood. Give life. Call Bonfils Blood Center for locations.
The annual major markdown.
The sale at the Clearance Center.
Now at the Clearance Center, save $3,000 on a 96 F-150 truck.
Only at the Lakewood Fordland Clearance Center.
Join Channel 7. We're putting children first this holiday season. Take the family to the Botanic Garden's spectacular Blossoms of Light display December 9th through January 1st. You'll see a variety of beautiful holiday lighting displays, enjoy live entertainment, doll and miniature displays, and more. For information, call 370-8187.
There's holiday magic, and all through the land, when snowflakes are flying, it's part of the plan.
When I think of Christmas, I think of family. Mailing Christmas cards, mailing packages, decorating cookies, getting together to sing and tell stories and laugh and have enough fun to last us till the next holiday.
Happy holidays from 7 News, and Happy New Year.
You stump me, you win. I get your bombs, I win. That's the game we're gonna play.
Now, Tom, come on. If we're going to play, you've got to play nice. Oh, if I know where the bombs are, so I know where you're going.
Then come and get me.
It's the Stanley Cup Finals, and terrorists have planted bombs all over the Pittsburgh Civic Arena. Only a special duty fireman, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, can disarm the bombs and outsmart the terrorists in sudden death, which is another retread of the Die Hard formula, and actually a fairly good one. The movie's villain is played by Powers Booth, and he has taken the Vice President of the United States as his hostage.
What do you want? What do I want? World peace, an end to bigotry, and no more mini-malls. What am I going to get? And I am going to get it. That, boys and girls, is really hot.
The movie does a good job of incorporating the game into the action, not only in one scene where the Penguin mascot turns deadly, but also in this scene where Van Damme masquerades as a sideline goalie.
This is Chicago on the attack here in the first period.
Here's one of the movie's several spectacular stunt sequences. Sudden Death was directed by Peter Hyams, who knows how to make these high-tech thrillers, and he does a pretty good job of balancing all of the elements, the bombs, the killers, the victims, and Jean-Claude Van Damme to the rescue. What I especially liked was the way so many details of locations were used in the action sequences, and that's right out of the Hong Kong movies that have kind of influenced this film. The fight in the kitchen, for example, uses the grill, the French fryer, the meat slicer.
I like the meat slicer.
Yes, the meat slicer, and then the bad guy takes a one-way trip through the industrial dishwasher. That was a good scene. Thumbs up for me on this.
Me too. And see, now, Roger, here's, even as you're talking about it, there's joy as you're talking about it because they're having a good time.
It's a better movie, Gene. It's a better movie than Cutthroat Island.
And they're creating something new. I mean, we haven't had a fight in the kitchen quite like this. The only quibble I have with the picture is the casting of Powers Booth as the villain.
Really?
Imagine James Woods in this. And then you have some real stakes being played.
James Woods is a busy guy. He's played the villain in every other picture this year. He can't be everywhere at once.
Okay.
Powers Booth is a good villain, too.
And I don't think so, but there's a lot of action in this picture and fun, too. You're laughing at where they take you in the stunts, and that's always a good sign. Coming up next, the boys are back. Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon return. The sequel, Grumpier Old Men.
I am the thief of hearts. I am the gangster of love.
Gangster, huh? Yeah, well, tell me, was it more of a hold-up than a stick-up?
When you're rushing in a hurry, what's for dinner? Not to worry. When a pizza just won't cut it, more Chinese, you're sick of it. For a warm and hearty supper, grab some chunky from the cupboard. It's not really such a big deal to prepare yourself a square meal. Chunks of beef, and big potatoes. And of course, we've got tomatoes. Peas and vegetables galore. Chunky soup, need we say more? Campbell's Chunky. Soup that eats like a meal.
Some of the world's best tasting water comes from an unexpected source. The Brita water filtration pitcher transforms tap water. The special Brita filter reduces chlorine taste and odor, eliminates 93% of lead, taking tap water back to nature. Brita, tap into great taste. Available at Target.
Now a review of a sequel called Grumpier Old Men, and I really didn't like the first picture with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau as neighbors who constantly rag each other. I mean, how many times is it funny to hear Matthau call Lemmon a putz? Once was more than enough for me, which is all preamble to telling you that I was totally surprised by how much I enjoyed this sequel, thanks primarily to two dazzling supporting performances. First, I absolutely loved Burgess Meredith's role as Jack Lemmon's feisty 95-year-old father. He's been given some great dialogue and delivers it well.
Every morning, I wake up and I smoke a cigarette. And then I eat 5 strips of bacon. And for lunch, I eat a bacon sandwich. And for a midday snack, bacon. Bacon, a whole damn plate. And I usually drink my dinner.
And Sophia Loren, of all people, pops up in this rural Minnesota town to turn the local bait shop into a pasta parlor.
You're gonna scare all the fish away.
This is the land of 10,000 lakes. Go find another one.
Of course, Lemmon and Matthau trade barbs, but I found them truly annoying in scenes like this.
I got just as much right to be here as you do.
You got bad luck. I don't want you infecting my spot.
Hitting 368.
Find your own damn fishing hole.
Holy moly, you got a fart in your brain or something?
And turn that down.
Jack Lemmon's okay as I think about it. Really, it's Mathau's character's limited vocabulary that turns me off. Now, can a film be worth seeing just for the supporting performances? Well, if one can, I suppose this is it. But I can't quite recommend Grumpier Old Men. Why? Because it is more insult humor than plot. Thumbs down from me.
Thumbs down for me, too, and I agree with you about Burgess Meredith, who in real life is in his late 80s and who was very, very funny in this movie. It could be called Dirtier Old Men, and it could have just starred him and somebody his age.
You know, and also, I thought Sophia Loren looked really terrific in this picture, and she seems to be having a good time. It's funny, the leads are the worst part of the film.
You mentioned soap opera earlier in this show. The word for this movie is sitcom, and this is like a pilot for a sitcom in which these two guys live next to each other, and they always have their windows open. You can always see what's happening in the house next door.
Roger, you know what
and that could turn into a sitcom, but as a movie, it doesn't make it.
Okay, when we come back, Robert Downey Jr. stars as an uncommon man in an uncommon time. Restoration is next.
You ought to be a paper bridegroom.
Look who's headed for the big time in the big payback. These Discover Card members won the first 4 $250,000 prizes in our holiday sweepstakes. There are still 4 more prizes waiting to be won. So keep using your Discover Card, and you'll be automatically entered in our next drawing. Who knows? Maybe you'll walk off with a fortune, too. It pays to Discover, the card with the big payback. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
Hi, Julie. We've been expecting you.
Todd, to reception, please. You have a guest.
Julie.
Hi, Todd.
Are you excited?
I'm really excited.
What do you say we go look at your car?
I'd love it. Okay. Is that my car?
This is Julie, and this is her first new car.
The warehouse price is coming down. We're going to make big sacrifices. Buy now and get a new 4Runner for just $2.99 a month. And we'll give you top dollar for your trade. Get a new 4Runner for only $2.99 a month at Douglas Toyota, the Toyota warehouse.
These lower rates will lower the payments.
Get specially reduced financing on every car and truck. Now's the time to buy and save. The Toyota warehouse, price crash 96.
The Toyota warehouse, what a difference.
Get to 104th Avenue while the savings last. Douglas Toyota, the Toyota warehouse. Don't miss the crash.
Wall-to-wall clearance. Nothing held back. This Tuesday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 12 hours only. Up to 70% off. It's Sun Valley Waterbeds year-end liquidation. Markdowns of up to 70%. Plus, pay no interest and make no payments till July at Sun Valley Waterbeds.
First came the innerspring mattress. Later, the waterbed. Now, the best of both, the Strata bed. Perfect in any bedroom. Perfect in your bedroom.
Strata mattresses available exclusively at Sun Valley Waterbeds.
Our next movie, named Restoration, is one of the most impressive jobs of historical recreation that I've ever seen. It takes place during one of the most tumultuous and fascinating periods of English history, the reign of Charles II, who, after Cromwell's Puritan regime, presided over a time that saw unbridled sensuality, as well as the Black Plague and the Great Fire of London. The movie opens in 1663 with the story of a young physician named Robert Merivale, played with impetuous style by Robert Downey Jr. He saves one of the king's beloved spaniels from dying, and in return, the king makes him a knight and gives him a country estate. There's only one catch. Merivale has to marry one of the king's mistresses in order to allay the suspicions of another.
Marry, Your Majesty. Marry Merivale. The phrase is very pretty to my ear. But, sire, I do not wish to marry.
I'm not asking you to wish it.
That's Sam Neill as Charles II. The young doctor takes possession of his estate, and soon he hopes to take possession of the mistress, too.
Love. You use that word. The king in his love for me made use of you. He looked around for the stupidest man he could find, and he found you. I begged him not to marry me to such a fool.
After the king discovers that the doctor tried to seduce the mistress, he banishes young Merivale, who has no place to turn but a mental hospital. It is there that he meets the great love of his life, an allegedly mad woman played by Meg Ryan.
We watched the river, and the river watched us until one day I closed my eyes, and the river took her for drowning. You must be watchful always, Robert. Do not sleep.
This movie gives you the look and feel of its time with astonishing conviction, and it tells a good story, too, as fate finally brings the doctor and the king back together again. I liked Restoration.
I thought it was wonderful, and I'm glad you focus on just the physical production of this picture, just for a second, and then I'm going to get to the reason I think it really works.
Okay.
Amadeus isn't any better looking than this, and that was about as good looking a picture as I've ever seen. Ultimately, I think it is Robert Downey Jr. who is our guide and who the film will stand or fall on. You can look at the sets for just so long. He has an amazing face. As I watched it, I realized his acting is going on. Everything that we should be feeling is registering just simply on his face, and it's beautifully done. I think that this guy is probably a little underestimated as an actor.
It's about time to take a look back at his whole career, including some movies that were flops, even like Chaplin, but he was very good.
I didn't think I liked that.
You liked it. He's very good as Charlie Chaplin. Robert Downey is developing into an extremely gifted actor, and in this movie you can definitely see
And it's funny because you say silent, you talk about Chaplin, and I'm talking about just his face. He has the capability of being a silent actor.
Okay, now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed this week. Two very enthusiastic thumbs up for Dead Man Walking, Tim Robbins' great film about capital punishment. It's a definite Oscar contender. It opens next week in New York and Los Angeles. A split decision on Cutthroat Island. I liked the film's energy and craftsmanship. Gene thought it was an overblown bore. We split, but not by that much, on Waiting to Exhale, the story of 4 women in search of an ideal or even an acceptable man. I thought it could have used a sharper edge, but it worked well as a stylish soap opera. Gene thought it was a soap opera, too. He really only found one character he really liked. 2 thumbs up for Sudden Death, though, the Die-Hard clone with Jean-Claude Van Damme saving thousands of hockey fans. It was a cleverly assembled action picture, made good use of its locations. 2 thumbs down, but sort of affectionately, for grumpier old men. And finally, 2 thumbs up on Restoration, starring Robert Downey Jr. It opens next week in New York and Los Angeles.
That's it for this week. Next week, we'll be back with our annual selections of the top 10 films of the year. The best of 1995 is next week. Until then, the balcony is closed.